Well, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to FNR coverage of RRC Racing Community. I'm Scrappy Doo, and I'm very proud to be taking you through the qualifying and race session for FNR Bronze. Now, this is the car of Gavlar, currently leading the Drivers' Championship by 12 points. Will with Red Bull be in the number one position by the end of tonight? We'll get to find out. So let's go and join the race stream. We'll play as much background music as possible. When we do, going through the list, we'll see some new drivers in the field as well today. Making sure I'm in spectate mode. So some new faces on the FNR Bronze tonight. And let's see if they can cut the dust around the French circuit. Now, hopefully for the drivers, after two, what I would call them, crazy races of Monaco, Azerbaijan and Canada with barriers, it's quite nice to see a circuit that doesn't have the walls. France, very tricky, two big DRS zones to take into account. Now, this race will run roughly about 45 minutes, 50%, with a one-off short qualifying session before that. Now, we might have a special guest a little bit later on in the form of, unfortunately, a driver who was not racing tonight, but hopefully he will come and join us, currently P3 in the championship. So if he does, it'll be a very welcome addition to the commentary team tonight, as we're a few minutes away from what will be the first qualifying. Now, one thing to point out from qualifying, for the race especially, it's going to be a case of the hard tyres is key, but when you go on the hard tyre will be the thing to pinpoint. Now, if this race does go green, I've done my maths, and unfortunately my maths teacher might hate me for this, but it actually is, when I'm going against what the computer game is saying, it probably can be better to basically run the soft tyres for as long as possible before then pitting for that hard tyre for one stop. The soft tyres in that case will become pretty much useless, so anyone going for the medium tyre in qualifying may find themselves on the backhands. Now, a lower percentage chance of a safety car here, but then again it is France after all, so we'll soon to find out. So let's go through the standings really quickly, just to recap. Driver 14 points behind, of course, 25 for a win and 1 for fastest lap, 26. As far as Mono, unfortunately he's not joining us tonight, other commitments, he actually could have gone equal with Gavlar tonight. The wins, of course, would have put him second in the championship. Durant currently in 4th place, Puppy 5th, Toon in 6th, and Stee 7th, Nismo 8th, Japon 9th, and Jason Woodhouse 10th. Now, let's hope Jason Woodhouse does have... He's had a bit of a bad luck recently in the last few races, unfortunately, looking through the standings, so let's hope that Jason does get it together and score some decent points for Alpha. Moving on to the Constructors' Championship, no surprise really to see that Red Bull and McLaren are top of the table, especially you've got Gavlar and Tristan both number 1 and number 2 in the table. The points, 73 points between Red Bull and McLaren, Alpha 3rd, Renault 4th, and Alfa Romeo in 5th place. Now, some new names, so we try and spend as much track time. Now, I will say thank you very much to RRC for making it into one big league tonight, expulsion of the league, so it's a good thing. In fact, more drivers and more chances for the new drivers to cut their teeth in NFR Bronze and just see what they're made of. Looking through the list, so I do recognise a lot of the names, of course, from racing myself in FNR Silver, or say WFR, I should say, on a Wednesday. So Puppy, Gavlar, Toon, Dragon, very good drivers. So this is really why you do wonder why these guys are in bronze. Mono's showing, so if Mono's racing tonight, it's be good for him especially if he can make it to P2 potentially in the Drivers' Championship tonight. Clay Mix in the Ferrari and Colour White new drivers for the league already joined us. Nice to see a fellow American flag on the grids after our 1-3 in Austin on Wednesday, which I'm still very, very happy about. Which unfortunately that's why I showed them the McLaren at the start of the event today. Now, of course, as you know, I do like to have a little joke around. If there is, unfortunately, a pink car, shall we say, a pink Mercedes at the front, on the front row, I'm going to have to play the Pink Panther anthem again. And if you have got any strong choices between qualifying the race, please do let me know. Send me a message and I'll try and fulfill it for you. So, what is the time now? Time is 2 minutes past 8 GMT. So, drivers will be very, very soon to ready up. See Dr. Lemons in the Haas driving tonight. A few more drivers readying up. Tristan as well. So, I think it really is time to start qualifying. So, it will be a short qualifying session today with just bronze drivers. So, at least now, all of the field will have a chance to get out there in France and show what they're made of today. It's actually quite nice to see some more drivers in the field, especially after only racing the last few weeks. Having just the 10 drivers in bronze, everyone could make it. So it's nice to see more drivers in the field. And hopefully that will continue for at least more races, if not the end of the season. Now, France very, very tricky. I'll tell you from first-hand experience. This French Paul Ricard circuit, very, very well known in the 90s as a test track Formula 1 cars. Take away the gravel, and we have these run-off strips. Let's not go into exactly my opinions on the run-off strips, but it's, like I said, it's a very, very good way of the drive. It's a good mix of circuits between the street circuits we're very, very used to, the old traditional tracks, and of course the new circuits without gravel for the drivers to cut their teeth with. Now, this will rely very, very much, unfortunately, on time penalties this race. So hopefully the drivers will take that into account, and hopefully we don't see any incidents we have done in the first turn. I'll see very, very quick to ask drivers just to give more caution to turn 1. And who's been the first driver that we see come out onto track? So I'm going to pause the music and go live to Paul Ricard for qualifying 1. It's green light in the pit lane, and surprisingly no one going out yet. Oh, we do see one car going out, so let's try and follow who that is. We'll stay on board with that driver because he activity in the Red Bull pit as well. You can see Super Steve going out. I'm trying to make a mental note of who is on laps. There's Mono as well. Fresh from his podium in the Wednesday night event over in Austin, the home Grand Prix. I did win that myself. Both events I'm very happy about, and it's nice to see a fellow American on the circuit with me as well. Now, 2 DRS zones here, and of course it will be fixed setups. So let's just see what Mono can produce on an outlap. I'm sure very, very much practiced around here. DRS now will be completely open. Does it very nice actually, sporting the Alpha with his black helmet. You can tell he's on an outlap there, breaking very, very early into that chicane. Now, I've got my map in case any drivers do get lost out there as we go onto Durant's car. Basically on board, bit of traffic ahead of him. I'm sure they will be getting out of the way before he starts his fast lap. So out of the 13 drivers we have out, we have pretty much half the field out on outlaps. As we can see, Durant really fighting the car going through what is a flat out section and opting for the medium tyre. Now, will we still be on the medium tyre at the end of this session? We'll find out. Dragging on speeds. We'll go for the outer view for the time being. Let's try and bring up some stats. just to see exactly what these cars are running, so you can see the field pretty much split between the drivers that are out there, between the soft and medium tyre. You shouldn't really see a bit of a car park at the back of Sector 3 in France. There's enough space to be able to go for its Dragon on Speed, preparing for his fast lap. Let's just see what he can do. Decent speed hitting the cone. I'm sure that's a few French francs for a Dragon on Speed if they charge him after the race. And I think he's already blown his lap. That's the reason why he's slowing down. Super Steve will be on a hot lap. Opting again for the soft compound tyre as he runs down the back stretch. You can see the tyre run off there, coming off. Right on board with Steve. That was pretty flat. You can see his engine, his fuel motor already going crazy before he's even finished his hot lap. Now the yellow flag hopefully will be for other drivers just getting out of the way of each other. Tristan opting to stay in the pits. Now of course these track penalties will become a big factor once in the qualifying. As you can see, Super C there not hitting a lap. That could of course be, like I was just saying, of a track penalty. Now we've already got a lap in. It's Mono who goes fast as a 1:31.1. Dr. Lemons goes second at 1:31.151. That is a 4 tenths down, 4 thousandths down in fact. So very good lap. Durant goes third fastest, unable to beat the two of their times, and very wide there from Jack. Let's have a look and see who was in the last sector, just kind of see if we can pick up on any laps before we get the data. And we can see the two Ferraris, and that is annoying for the two Ferraris, getting in the way for Jack on a fast lap. There's Colour White and his teammate Claimex in the first RRC FNR race. But annoying, unfortunately for Jack, that will be lap over. So we'll ride with Devils to see what he can do. The lap hasn't counted. Oh, it has counted, apologies. On it 32.1. Now, it looks like Jack might be going to the stewards about that if he doesn't improve. It's a shame. The two Ferraris seem to have been just sitting around in the middle of the track, unfortunately. Now, if this Dragon decides to take another lap as we ride on board with the Haas in the middle of Sector 2. Believe you me, my Google Maps is going crazy right now, telling me where the drivers are. As a driver myself, I actually completely forget where we are. Especially around France, the track limits are set so strict around here. DRS will open on this lap for Dragon on Speed. Now the target lap time as we approach 12.5 minutes to go in the session, a 1:31.1 by Mono. Dr. Lemon's currently pushing on the front row, joining him with 4 thousandths slow. As you can see now, the Renault looks like getting completely out of the way. That's how you get out of the way on a slow down, on a slower lap another driver. Lovely helmet design you can see from Dragon on Speed as well. Just listening to the way Dragon on Speed takes that flower corner wasn't too bad actually. Of course, in Bronze League it will be fixed up. A big tank slapper there from Dragon on Speed. Managed to hold it. What can the Haas do as we approach Sector 3? Coming to the last corner now. It's all about this final apex to see what he can do. That wasn't too bad either. Sniffing the gears, you can just see it. What can Dragon on Speed do with his second flying lap on the medium tyre? He goes third fastest, a 1:31.7. He's still 6 tenths down on Mono, but of course he's running the softer tyre. As we can see, Devils now deciding to pull off the track to get out of the way of those two Ferraris. And now what can the new boys do? What can Clay and Colour White do? As we can see, Gavlar goes fastest with a lap of 1:30.292. That is, what, 7 tenths clear of Colour White goes fastest, apologies. 30.292, beating Gavlar's time by 2 tenths. So, very good lap from the new boy, running that 74 Ferrari. Now, who haven't we seen set a lap time yet? Now, Jack Blum seems to be on a slow down lap, Dragon on Speed still on track, trying to improve, currently 5th fastest. with a 1 minute 31.798. Toon Fan will go down to, we haven't seen him today. Oh, he's in the pits, that's the reason why we haven't seen him. Tristan trying to flying lap. This will be his out lap, of course. And does he get it to stay in? He's just trying to get some space by the looks of things. Now, the time to beat is Colour White, 1 minute 30.292 from the new boy. Now, Gavlar's got to improve by 7/10 to get him by the looks of things. Just seeing what Trisha can do during the first sector. Keeping a very close eye on the monitor as well, just to see what the other cars are doing as they go out. Now, Jack option to do 2 laps on the soft tyre. It's not the best idea. He's got plenty of softs available to him in the pits. The DRS well open for Tristan. What can his top speed be? He's watching his top speed as he comes down 203, 204, 205 just as he breaks the 100 metre ball down for the chicane. Bit untidy there for Tristan. He could do so much better than that. On the exit there, the chicane. As he stays with this lap, he's got enough time, of course, to come back into the pits after this lap and set another lap time. As we can see, Mono is not happy with that lap time, as we have just over 9 minutes to go in the session, so the guys ahead will have a chance to set a lap time and come back out again if they're not happy. And we've got an equal spread really of soft and medium tyres out there. Tristan does elect to stay on his lap and take him to the bunker. Where does he put? Currently 10th with no lap time. Where does he put himself on the grids? And Tristan goes 8 fastest, 1 minute 32.3. So now we will go back to Mono, just to see what he can do. So a big bridge there. Needs to improve by just a tenth of a second, say, to get to P2, beating Gavlar's time, who surely will come back out again. Colour White's time is definitely the benchmark, 1 minute 30.292 from the new boy. Very impressive from him. And that is the way you do make a FNR appearance. Come out and set a fast lap time, as we can see what Mono's doing in Sector 2. Now, can his teammate join him, as we can see Colour White going out there for another lap, maybe a bit early. Be touch and go if he can make another section, as we can see Mono electing not to go out for another lap. Now, Colour White, as we can see, his teammate, very much a Sebastian Vettel helmet sporting today. There's, I think, some team orders down at Ferrari might prevail. Maybe they're trying to get a slipstream, the two Ferraris down the backstretch in France. Maybe that's agreement before they come into this. You can see him like pushing the car from left to right, trying to warm the tyres up. I'm not 100% myself how much of an impact that makes. Now, the drivers who still haven't set lap times, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers still to set lap times. Our current provisional pole position holder is Colour White, 1 at 30.292 on the soft tyre. Gavlar second. He's got to make up, 7/10 still, to put himself on provisional pole position. Mono's still third. Dr. Lemon's fourth, 1 at 31.151, done 2 laps on his medium tyres, who's still out on track. We will go back to join Colour White shortly. Dr. Lemons, it looks like he could be on a fast lap, that's why we're joining him. His fuel very, very low, his DRS very low as well, so this could be a pit stop lap for him, an in lap. And he's backing off as well, so that is definitely not going to be a fast lap from him. Before we go back to Colour White, I will try and have a quick look through some of the drivers who haven't put lap times down. Jack, for example, he's in sector 1 right now, just hoping not to impede his time, which I'm guessing he did on his last lap. That's the reason why he called it a day. Good speed through there. And the complicated complex of sector 1. Targeting fourth in there, Jack. It's a second gear, third gear corner at most. Okay, Toon fans still electing to stay in the pits with 5 minutes to go. So 5 minutes to go. We'll go back to Colour White and just see if his teammate is obeying team orders and getting out of his way. His teammate is currently still ahead of him, Claymers. Now, will Ferrari play the team game and get him out of the way? Then again, Colour White has done a very quick lap. Done a very quick lap time anyway. So, does he need to go faster and spare that set of tyres? His teammate is blocking him there. Okay, Clay does need to set a lap time. The 33.7 is currently the slowest of times we've had out there. Now, does Colour White decide just to get rid of this lap as Poppy still stays in the pit lane? And who was that to set a lap time? I didn't see the change there. I didn't see that, so apologies if I've missed something on the track order of the drivers going out. Oh, and very tight in that last corner from the two Ferraris. Now surely Clay's going to have to get out of his teammate's way now. And he does. Playing the team game. Maybe he's trying to get a slipstream down the front stretch. Now Clay is definitely going to be going for it. Now how's his chicane? He's fighting the car. Nice turn in. Very, very nice turn in. And again locked in for 4th gear coming out of there. Seems pretty high for me. We're definitely taking a much lower gear coming out of that complex, as we are just under 4 minutes to go in qualifying. Colour White still leads from Gavlar, Mono, Dr. Lemons and Devil Nightmare is your current order. We still have 3 cars yet to set a time. As we can see Colour White deciding to get out of that. We'll join Poppy. Bought in the Alpha Tauri today. Can he put himself anywhere near the first 2 rows in the grid? One of the 3 drivers out there yet to set a lap time. Super Steve has been out, but unfortunately it looked like he had his lap time removed. And that's the reason why Toon decided to still stay in the pit lane as we come up to the 3-minute warning mark. This is when the drivers really want to start going out and setting a lap time if they haven't, if not improving on the lap time they already have. As we can see for the time being, Poppy still staying on that medium tyre, the tyre of choice. Looking at the order, is looking like it's going to be the soft tyre for the race. But what can Poppy do? This car's getting completely out of his way. It's good to see. They've all put in, it could be Gavlar or Durant getting out of his way there. Where does Poppy put himself? Poppy goes 10th fastest, 1:33.1. Now he does not going to have enough time to be able to pit and come back out. Maybe the strategy game looking at the race. We still have 2 cars yet to come out as we approach the 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning for drivers. 2-minute warning to go. So the drivers really need to be coming out now to improve on their lap times. We're looking at Toon Fan, who seems to have taken my advice. Has come out, yet set a lap time. So it's going to be a one-shot qualifying for Toon Fan tonight. The driver have a lot of potential up there on the grid. But can he beat that 1:32.92 set by Colour White? We've got a minute and a half to find out. We can see it, Gavlar, the current points leader in the championship, out. He's not going to like the idea of starting on the other end of the front row of the grid. Can he improve? That's right, I'm bored of him. Just see exactly what he can do. Gavlar does improve, but he's 3/10 down. And that could be the end of it, qualifying for him. So Mono Can he improve? That 1 minute 30.292. It's 3/10 down for Gavlar, so Gavlar's a no, and Mono Alexis come in. So Mono is a no, unfortunately, for that. Dr. Lemons, now does he and his Haas have what it takes to put it on the front row? Currently 4th. He's only got to improve by a few thousandths to get Mono and put it ahead of the second row of the grid. Decent braking in there from Dr. Lemons. We've still got a few cars out there. Colour White knows he can't improve. He doesn't have the time to improve on that lap time. Gavlar did have the opportunity, but it looks like he just wasn't quick enough to be able to get him. Dr. Lemons will watch to the end of this lap. He's on the last corner. He just doesn't have the bite, and the car is out of DRS. It's not going to be a quick lap from Dr. Lemons. He's not going to improve. Dragon on Speed will go down to Dragon on Speed, Tristan, Jack Blum on track, and Toon Fan looking to improve. As we can see, Dr. Lemons, like I did say, that's the end of his qualifying session. So the checkered flag is out. It is down now to see what we can do. We still have Colour White on pole position. Gavlar on the front row second. Tristan goes third. A 1 minute 30.964. 5/10 off. Gavlar ahead. And a big jump there to Colour White. We still have Dragon Speed and Jack Blum. Jack and his... Does he come in? Look like he's coming in there for a second. Got a McLaren ahead of him. McLaren won't interfere with his lap time. Where can Jack put his car? Put his Renault. Of course, winning this league as well. He doesn't improve. Toon Fan does go 4th though. So it's going to be an all McLaren second row. So Dragon on Speed does it right at the end of the session. A 1 minute 29.8. Where did that come from the Haas? What a lap from the Haas. I was just about to go and look at his lap time. I thought he was a bit further down in the sector than that, but what a lap from Dragon on Speed. Dragon on Speed will take pole position. By the looks of things, what's Clay doing? He's the last car that could deprive him of pole position. So currently, we're looking at Dragon on Speed on pole position, Colour White second, Gavlar third, Tristan 4th, Toon Fan 5th, and Mono in 6th. Clay's the last car that can improve. And Super C hasn't set a lap. What does he do? He doesn't. So confirmation of that. We have Dragon on Speed we're looking at on pole position for the race. Colour White will start second coming into Parc Ferme. Gavlar, the current points leader, will start third. Tristan in 4th. 5th is Toon Fan and 6th is Mono. So in fact we have 1, 2 and 3 in the championship. Nowhere near the front row. It's Dragon on Speed out of nowhere around France, and the new boy Colour White will start on the front row with him. As now we can see confirmation of that. Dragon on Speed starting from pole position. Colour White second during the front row of the grid. Now the French Grand Prix coming up for you. A 50% race around the Paul Ricard circuits. Now one thing to note from here. So doing my maths a little bit earlier. like I was saying, the driver starting on the soft tyre. 2 stops could be the faster way to go, according to Codemasters. Between a 1 and a 2, as long as it does stay green throughout the race. It's saying roughly that they could be starting from lap 9. Only last 9 laps, the soft tyres. So any drivers looking to strategies right now, 9 laps could be it for the softs for this 27 lap race, which will be 42 minutes in length. So if, for example, you stop for long lap 9 for the from the soft tyres starting onto the hards, that'll be an 18 lap stint, and maybe a bit too much for what the hards can do. So any drivers, maybe just the one driver starting on the medium tyre, that could be an easy switch again to the hards on lap 12. Maybe even a 2 stop today. So we're moments away from finding out. So just as pointed out, my graphics are not lying on me. The 2 stop race could come into play today. As we can see, this formation lap now, Dragon on speed. Starting from pole. What can he do? And already we can see that a car removed from the formation lap. That's going to be for hitting somebody else. So of course, unfortunately, cold tyres, it won't make an impact on the starting order. But unfortunately, Tristan will be starting with cold tyres. Now currently, if the drivers were to finish where they start, then Gavlar would still lead the championship. Tristan would still be second. Gavlar doing a very good job currently in the point standings the last few races to stay ahead of his nearest competitors. Now don't disregard Toon Fan or Toon Fan from this race at all, or Mono in his recent performances, who have been, and also Jack. But as you can see, a lot of tyre deck coming off there on the back of the back section. The Super C does need to pick it up a little bit there. I'm sure he won't like being hit by a lot of tyre, but a sort of tyre ends off there. As we can see, he'll be going into this at racing speed breaker right there, roughly. Of course, it's the formation lap. So 13 cars in the field. Nice to see more drivers than the 10 we're used to. Hope to see 20 starts. So as the cars are getting into order, Dragon speed, really trying to slow them down on this formation lap. Now, there's going to be total focus from the drivers. Tristan's car already on the grid after being disqualified from the formation lap. As RRC is about to present the FNR Bronze race around France. "27 laps to come. The cars are all in position. 2, red light 3, 4, 5, and the French Grand Prix is go. Now! A good start initially from Dragon on speed, and we can see Colour White trying to push an advantage there as we come into turn 1. Who breaks first? Who's going to blink first? And it's going to be the Ferrari against the Haas. Who's going to make it into there? It's so close to contact between the two cars. As you can see further back, there's damage there. As we get Dragon speed still leads. Oh dear, that's a front wing gone. Unfortunately, on Toon Fan's car. There could just be hopefully be a bollard as he's attacking. And we can see Tristan at the back of the field already. Can you see what happened there? So hopefully it's just my stats playing around on me. As we can see now, Dragon and Speed managing to keep his distance, and we can see Colour White going for him now without DRS. No contact between these two. Very clean so far. Good pass there. Back from Colour White, back again in his Ferrari. I see a yellow flag in sector 2. I'm trying to see exactly what's happened. It's Mono. We haven't seen, but hopefully no damage to his car. He's coming down there in 9th place. Now he's got it all to do today, Mono, to get some decent points. As it's 2 left around there as he's trying to get past Dr. Lemons. So these two have obviously had a coming together at some point to see these two a bit further down than you expect. Puppy Claymore's in his first race around FNR and Super Steve needs to get it together. Much better than being 13th currently as we ride with Colour on White, the current leader. And there's already activity in the pit lane. It's Devil's Nightmare coming in. It's going to be a front wing change. Does he opt for the hard tyre? And it's going to be... Is that Steve coming in as well? Steve is in as well, so we can expect... There was those two fighting with each other. It's going to be the medium tyre and the new front wing for Devils. Now, realistically, if the safety car does come out, Devils could be onto a winner here. As we can see, tyre lock in there from Dragon on Speed. Very high downforce corner, and it's hard for Super Steve. Possibly taking my advice. The longer this race goes on, the more that will help hit Dragon on Speed. As Jack seems to be getting troubles as well. As we can see that Haas ahead of him. As Mono is fighting with the House of Dr. Lemons. Who's going to make it out of this performance? It's going to be a 50-50 in the braking zone. And you can see there Mono does allow Dr. Lemons the corner. Good bit of sportsmanship between the two of them there as he fights him back again. And there's contact between the two cars, not giving him room. He does move over. Hopefully no damage to either car. And he does allow... Maybe there was a bit of an issue there between the two cars. Hopefully they're all both going to be okay. As we can see, an 8/10 gap between the two cars. We'll try and turn on as much data as possible to try and give you guys a complete heads up view, as we can see off the start. So the big movers and shakers between them, you see Durant making up 3 positions from the start, from 9th up to 6th. Oh, as a movement there, as Gavlar's locked a position. We can see a 3 wide coming down the front stretch. Gavlar's trying to pick it up there. He's not pushing the overtake button and losing out to a second. McLaren tuned is going to give him some space. Does he's riding the curbs a bit too much? There's going to be a penalty. Colour White does get a penalty. Oh, Colin Rose Leader gets a 3-second penalty. Now that's going to be a big shake up in the race. If Dragon, like I said to you earlier, of course, it's all going to come down to time penalties this one. As you can see, Dragon really taking it to the limit there in his Red Bull. So as you can see, with 2 McLarens and 2 Red Bulls there having a ding-dong battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place. We'll go back to the race for the leader. And you can see Dragon on Speed not getting close enough under DRS. But exactly what is going to happen between these two? You can see it's been a ding-dong battle for the rest of the race already. Does he keep it flat? This is crucial championship points, of course. Can Colour White take it in his first FNR race? Of course, the DRS will be open. First lap of DRS, he'll get it again. A big lock up front left there from Dragon on Speed. And they seem to be pulling away from the rest of the pack. Tristan, big lock up there, unfortunately. Big tank snapper. Tristan currently in 3rd. He's got his teammate Toon behind him in 4th. He'll get DRS. He's not going to be close enough, though, on this lap. Let's have a quick look to see if there's any more battles going down there. Mono seems to be having his own quiet race back there in 7th place. Unfortunately, their puppy opting for a pit. Toon has got multiple warnings there for a 3-second penalty. As we can see, Puppy electing for the soft tyre. Very strange strategy, and a new front wing is going to put him out of the points. Unfortunately, Dr. Lemon surely will get him as he does. So, as a move there, we can see Devil's Nightmare. Oh, on the outside, as you could just see there, turn 1. That was aggressive and very good driving between him and Dr. Lemons. It's a shame to see him down the field. Dr. Lemons, one of these very hard nut drivers. A lot of pace behind him. As Puppy, unfortunately, hitting up the end of the field after his change and also getting a time penalty there. This is going to be crucial. Not just your race order, but also how many penalties do you have and how many penalties does the guy behind you have. As Colour White is still staying there in the slipstream. So of course on the track he's P2. On the race he's actually going to be P3 after the penalties, or having a 3-second time penalty. And a slide in there, that's going to be chasing the car too much. He will get ERS. is going to be too far away. There's going to be a battle between the two McLarens, between Toon Fan and Tristan going to turn 1. Toon Fan does have the inside line. Tristan's going to have to let him go here, and does. The two Red Bulls behind him, they're going to be having the best view of the house, is Gavlar back there in 5th place. At the two McLarens finding it out there for what is P3, actually P2 on the actual racetrack. There's more action a bit further down. We can see Jack opting for the hard compound tyre, the white marked Pirelli rubber. Now that is going to be possibly running till the end if he can last and look after his tyres. His teammate Devils, is he going to let him through? They do move positions, so Devils does get Jack on the entrance of turn 1. Good bit of fighting. Dr. Lemons gets himself a penalty. It's really hard to keep up with these penalties this afternoon. Maybe the drivers do need a map, as we offer a little bit earlier. Maybe some Google Maps might come into force there. As we can see, the other drivers battling for points. Super Steve trying to make his way back into the top 10. Poppy and Dr. Lemons we were riding with. Now let's have a quick look at Clay Mitts. Probably racing in 8th place in his first race, as we can see the gap for first position extending to 1.5 seconds. Freddy Dragons does have it, his qualifying pace, as Durant gets himself a 3-second penalty in the sister Red Bull. Dragon on speed, it's saying failed in position. Oh, it's colour white pitting. So lap 6, that's very, very early for the medium tyres. He's going to have to stop again. These these medium tyres will not make it to the end. As we can see a Red Bull pitting. That's going to be Durant coming in. Can't stop his time, put it in the pit lane, of course. And of course going for the medium tyre, bit of a hold up there in the Red Bull pit lane. Now we have a move in position, as we can see Dragon Speed still does stay after 5 laps. Toon Fan goes up to P2, Tristan 3rd, Gavlar 4th. Clay is going to be up to 5th in his first race. His teammate Connor White, who was leading this race, down to P6. Now any team orders at Ferrari potentially, as we can see Mono also coming in. So the tyre of choice does look like it's going to be the medium tyre. Dr. Lemons and Super Steve opting for the hard. And potentially could see them last till the end of the race, and of course any safety cars that come out will possibly go in their favours. Looking at the Ferrari battle, there is absolutely no loss after between these two Ferraris, and the DRS will open up for Colour White. So surely now to the left hand corner coming up, his teammate, is he going to battle him coming in here? Hopefully not. Between these two, he does give him the space. Good driving there from the both of them, from the two Ferraris. So a big gap going up now. Does Dragon on speed? Does he have it? Will he come in on this lap? You can see his soft tyres coming towards the end of the life. There's a 4.6 gap, 4.7 gap. He'll opt to stay out. He's coming in. He is coming in, Dragon on speed. Trying to get his car underneath 50 miles an hour for the pit lane there. As he comes into this tight pit lane of Paul Ricard. He's not going to be able to... I'm going to say he's not going to stay ahead of Toon Fan. Toon Fan does stay out. And Gavlar. So Colour White is going to be the person we're looking at. This is going to be for the overall race lead. Tristan does stay out for 1 lap, so Tristan does lead the race. Of course, hasn't stopped. Dragon on speed, he is in and out. Medium tyre. Now, where does Colour White come out? This is going to be for overall race lead. Colour White, can he get his Dragon speed to beat? It's going to be close between the two of them. He couldn't make it fight. So, Dragon on speed, currently second, couldn't get it ahead I'll say Colour White couldn't get ahead of Dragon on speed. His teammate up to 4th, of course, yet to stop on those medium tyres. So Tristan has it all to do. Can Tristan make it up? The safety car comes out right now. Tristan will probably lead the race. 15 seconds ahead of Dragon on speed, currently in P2. It's not going to be enough to then change his tyres. You can see him struggling there on those soft tyres. How long can he make these soft last? Of course, safety car comes out now. Tristan will get the advantage, but that's obviously not hope for that, of course. Now Dragon on speed, you can see now Colour White so much closer there, 4/10 to Dragon on speed. As you can see, claiming it's his first race, really fighting with the McLaren as well with Toon. Now is Toon going to get him? Toon up the inside, good move again, very, very good driving from Clay and from Toon. Fantastic to see him. As you can see, Tristan definitely coming in. Now the gap down to 14.4 seconds, it won't be enough for a pit stop, so Dragon on Speed will get him off his stop. Now we expect it's between him and Toon Fan, his teammate in this sister McLaren, to see who can come out in the lead. We'll go back to Dragon on Speed, who will be overall leading this race at the end of the straight, and Tristan is looking like he'll come out in 4th position, so Dragon Speed takes the lead. It's Colour White who currently in 2nd. Where does Tristan come out? He's 3rd for the minute. The gap is between him and his teammate, and his teammate does get him. Toon Fan gets him, and Gavlar, and Durat, and Claymix, so Tristan down to 7th place. So horrendous for him, maybe staying out that extra 2 laps on the extra laps on the soft compound tyre wasn't good enough. Now Claymix hasn't come in, he's on the medium tyres. Now his defending will have to go up. Tristan getting himself a penalty. That's not what you want to do around Paul Ricard. It's all going to come down to race order and unfortunately penalties. Now can Tristan get away round him? As they approach the DRS zone, he's been very clever here, Tristan, waiting for the DRS to open. He does get that, as you can see behind him as well. There's a battle all over the place, and there's contact! Mono out of the race. We just about saw that as a shame for Mono. Out again for the American driver. What a shame, out of the race. And does this call a safety car? It does. A safety car comes out 1 lap too short for Tristan. Now, realistically, this is the time that Claymix really wants to be coming in. So Claymix and Super Steve, the oldest tyres out there. Who pits? Of course, the drivers are going to be down now to a delta time they have to stick to. So we're not going to see any overtaking currently. Will be the order: Dragon on Speed, Colour White, Toon Fan, Gavlar, Davlance, Devil's Nightmare, Tristan Claymore's still to stop in P8, Jack in 9th and Dr. Lemon's 10th, Super Steve in 11th has stopped with 6 lap old tyres. Now does anyone decide to come in? Let's have a quick flick through the order. And it doesn't look like any of the top 10 have decided to pit. Big unlucky there for Mono. We was trying to flick over to see exactly what happened there with Mono. Mono unfortunately leaving the session. Very annoying for him. Another race and no points. As now, where is the safety car? As lap 9 is not going to be enough for the drivers to pit now, surely, for the hard tyre and make it through to the end of the race. Even if they did, they have to drive so slowly, we left a while. As we can say, Claymix does actually finally pit, it looks like. Has he pitted? No, he hasn't. There was a movement, hopefully not a glitch in the game. Again, we've seen so many times in this game glitches, causing the commentator's curse, if it were. So we're waiting now for the safety car to pick up Dragon on Speed. So roughly 3 laps to the safety car. If it does come in any earlier, we'll let you guys know. Of course, giving you a live stream here of FNR Bronze. Dragon on Speed staying out. He will pick up the safety car on this lap. The lap ball's looking out there. I don't think he needs a lap ball. He knows exactly where Colour White is, right behind him. Oh, it's now yellow flag. It's now back to race in order. I thought it was safety car. Toon Fan goes fastest on those medium tyres now. Can he catch the leading 2? The gap to Colour White is going to be, as we can see, Devil's Nightmare getting himself a penalty. Now the gap from Toon Fan's point of view to P2 Colour White is going to be, what's that, just under a second. Or 3 points, sorry, pardon me, is be 3.5 seconds down. So we've got all to do with just over half the race to go. He can see P2 ahead of him. As we'll flick through in France to see what the leading battles are, we can see Devil's Nightmare edging very, very close to Tristan. Unfortunately, more penalties for him. The DRS was open on the backstretch. That was the beeping we heard as he got to the end of the braking zone. Unfortunately, it's the one retirement from the 13 starters, Mono Pono. Unfortunately, with that crash on the backstretch, I'm sure the stewards will be looking into that one. There was definitely a bit of contact there. The front tyre, of course, lost from the car. Big shame for him. Very talented driver in the field. She'll run through. Jack driving a decent race. Haven't heard a lot about Jack today. Oh, 3-second penalty for Jack, which had been a bit quieter there. Be good to see Jack get some decent points here around France, as the gap for the lead does go up to just under 3 seconds. 3 seconds then back to Toonfan. Gavlar 1.4 behind. His teammate right behind him, Duran, in 5th place, who will go and ride with. Now the fastest lap of the race currently is being dealt down by Toonfan in P3. More time penalties this time for Tristan, so it's going to be 6 seconds, if not more, for Tristan. Now Devil's Nightmare will be the guy to follow, is when does he stop, because one more stop definitely needed for him. Has he got it to be able to make it onto those soft tyres? Can he make the mediums last for one more stop back to the softs? Just trying to look through the battles here to see the closest battle on track. This is the closest battle on track. Dr. Lemons in 10th position after more points against the new boy Clay. Poppy gets himself a 3-second penalty. And unfortunately these guys are not learning across the bumps here at Paul Ricard's. Now the next driver surely going to be coming in very, very soon, going to be Poppy. His soft tyres surely can't take much more punishment than this as a gap again, staying around 4 seconds, as you can see. Dr. Lemons really eyed up a pass on Clay. He does give Clay some space there. They will get DRS on the next stretch. A mistake there for Clay. Will ride with him, and unfortunately we're likely to see the hat of Dr. Lemons go straight ahead of us. Does he pit? He does take the opportunity to pit, so Dr. Lemons does get the position by the fact of Clay pitting. So he will take the position. That'll be for P at 9. He's staying out on those hard tyres. We'll go back to the lead shortly, which means pit stop, so Clay decides to go for the hard tyres. That should see him through the end of the race. And of course any actual safety cars. Now Poppy at the end of the field coming in for the hards. That again will see him through to the end. Hoping for a safety car, at least for him. A virtual safety car wouldn't help, because the guys at the front surely would pit for the medium tyres at this stage to see them through to the end. Some fuel saving needed from Dragon on speed by the looks of things. His engine mode looks to be in yellow, which basically means he does need to save his ERS at 50%. He's 4 seconds ahead of Colour White, who we currently are looking over in second place. The new boy from Germany, 4 seconds behind. Toonfan in 3rd position, currently holding the fastest lap of the race. 3.4 seconds behind second. Gavlar in 4th. Duran in 5th, and Tristan behind him in 6th position. Now it's the curse of France, unfortunately. All the drivers out of dearest range of each other. So realistically now, let's talk about actually the concentration that's needed for a 50% race, of keeping the car on the island, on the black stuff as we like to say, and just not letting it phase you. That's what comes important, especially in France. It could be, many drivers see as a boring race. I've had many boring races, and it's that concentration snap that causes you to put it into the wall, like myself in Spain, which I'm not very happy about, but I'll happily talk to you about. There's a lack of concentration. As you can see, Tristan there, maybe the tyres coming into it, the tyre grip not what it was on the last couple of laps. His medium compound tyres have done 5 laps so far. Devil's Nightmare, who's racing behind him, his tyres have done double the amount, stopping on lap 2. Unfortunately, an early front wing change that's cost him. He's down in 7th. His teammate Jack behind him in 8th. Looking for more points a day for Renault. So currently at the moment, if it was championship order was to finish here, Gavlar looks like would still lead. Toonfan would catch him in the Drivers' Championship, but Gavlar would extend his lead over Tristan, and look like the Red Bull will still be ahead at the end of this race. Jack now deciding not to use his overtake button. His ERS trying to gain in this part of the race. He's not really racing anyone. He's got his teammate ahead of him. He's trying to make those tyres last. That's what I'd be doing if I was him. In this order, the gap for the lead goes up to 4.3 seconds. It's been tottering around the 4-second mark for the last 5 or 6 laps. Last 8 or 9 laps, I should say, really. As we have a position change there as Devils decides to come in. His yellow marked medium tyres, just not enough for him. He's obviously seen the lack of performance, got off the cliff, as Martin Bond likes to say. And it's going to be hard. Now, that's been the driver's choice. The hard tyres will see him through to the end of the race, so hopefully no more pit stops for him. Super Steve will catch him and move up into 9th place, but of course will have to stop again. His hard white tyres will not last until the end of the race. Done 12 laps already, and it's all about performance now. I think Super Steve needs to calm the car down, make these hard tyres last as long as possible, and potentially come back in for the softs and make a last charge through the field. That's what Steve needs to do. As you can see him battling with that first big chicane here at Paul Ricard. Toon Fan, another 3-second time penalty. I'm losing track of the amount of penalties everyone has this evening. It's a big sorry to see these drivers getting more penalties. But of course the rules are for everyone, and everyone does get warnings, of course, about these curbs. Notorious in France, these low curbs, very, very easy to get an advantage or to race against. Of course, in Formula 1, the drivers do like to race all across these curves without penalties, but it's on strict because, of course, it is a league race today. As we can see, Devil's Nightmare using his ERS button. Then a 20%. He's going to have to refill that. He's got Super Steve just over 2 seconds ahead of him, so he's going to have to stop again, Super Steve. So this should be the end of the race for Devil's Nightmares, because he colour white picking himself up another penalty. So realistically, the gap between second and third is all going to be down to penalties. Now, Dragon on Speed, I think he did have one. I've seen colour white get multiple penalties. As we can see, some fuel saving needed there from Dragon on Speed, and this will be the time that Colour White really needs to capitalise. He's run out of ERS. It's going to be the engine mode that Dragon on Speed needs to save, and if he's saving on fuel, it's all going to come down to what he can do in the latter part of this race. We're just over half distance on lap 15. Dragon on Speed leads, Colour White second, Toon Fan third, Gavlov fourth, Durat fifth, and Tristan in sixth. We've got, unfortunately, 12 drivers still running after, unfortunately, Mono retiring off that incident we briefly saw. Just the 2 cars then battling for points, for at least a point today, as we can look at the battle for what is 11th place between Clanix and Puppy. And it looks like Puppy's going to catch him here on ERS. He will. So does Puppy have it to gain points? Crucial points needed in this championship battle. As you can see, Clay just trying to get some grip of the back of that Alpha. That Alpha Tauri. It's not going to help in this occasion. He seems to be falling back. And it's a big welcome to FNR to him, of course. The other new boy, Colour White, currently sitting in P2. Very good drive for him. Fantastic qualifying as well in his first race in FNR. Riding with Devil's Nightmare, of course, only coming on the last lap or 2 laps ago, I should say, actually, 4 hard tyres. It will see him through to the end of the race. If there is a safety car, this is where we're going to need all the focus. Super Steve surely can't stay out too much longer on those hard tyres. You can see how much he's battling there with the car for 9th place. He has got Dr. Lemons ahead of him slightly. It's saying on the radar, it's at 5 seconds. On track, it's a lot less than that. It's going to be penalties, is the reason why. But of course, Super Steve does need to come in. At the moment, unfortunately, that will see him drop to at least 10th, and that will be all for Puppy to get the last point in P10. That is the battle will be for 10th place. They'll ride for the moment with Super Steve. Of course, he's going to have to come in very soon, keeping an eye over the order. to see if there's any changes or any cars getting any closer to each other. Dragon on Speed still leads. Colour White second, Toon Fan third, Gavlar fourth, Duat fifth, and Tristan in sixth. Now, of course, the drivers, the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, all running that hard white stripe tyre, which potentially, it looks like a few of them are going to have to come in. If at least the top 7 or the top 8, looking down at who's going to be safe, realistically the top 9 drivers will have to come in again. So it's all about those drivers on the hard tyre. Can they capitalise, or is the gap going to be too much to bear? And that is why Dragon on Speed and Colour White and Toon Fan are going to be trying to get as much as they possibly can ahead. As we're looking at the new boy, Colour White, out of ERS again. For his lap, he knows it's important to him. Crucial points. Dragon on Speed, our current race leader in the Haas, extending his gap to 7 seconds ahead of the new boy Colour White. Now, no pit stop on this lap from him. Does Colour White decide to come in? He doesn't. Toon Fan third, taking it very, very easy in the final chicane as they start lap 18 of the French Grand Prix. Gavlar. Now the driver just trying to take it as easy as possible on these medium tyres. The easiest, and as long as they make these medium tyres, the better. We have, 10 laps to go. So it's going to be a change to softs. Now even if these guys, so the first straight cut is going to be Durant coming in. It's going to be the soft tyres, surely, as he comes into the pit road. His outs is on mediums. Now I think potentially if that's possibly a screw up potentially from the Red Bull team, because surely unless he didn't have any soft tyres left, that is going to be, of course, if these drivers stay out for a few more laps at the front, they can make it on the soft tyre. Now if Dragon on Speed was to pit right now, looking at the order, he's going to come out in 7th. If not 8th place. Super Steve gets himself a penalty for corner cutting. That's not what we want to see in this league, as it does seem to be getting very, very dark over Paul Ricard. The gap now 8.1 seconds for the lead of the race, with penalties included there. And it is raining out there. That's the reason why these drivers are taking it easy on the mediums. Now we're going to have an absolute rush to the end of this race. And they start lap 19. It is very, very wet out there in Paul Ricard. Who is going to be the first driver to blink and come in for wets? Now Durant is going to be kicking himself for coming in for the medium tyre. And of course this falls straight into the people like Dragon on Speed, Colour White, Toon Fan, people basically in the top. Now Jack is going to be coming in. Does he opt for mediums? Does he think the track is wet enough? Surely it's not wet enough to be coming in. As Dr. Lemons as well, it's not going to be wet enough, surely, for intermediates. He does go for inters. Now this is going to be a big, big gamble in the race to see what he can do. He's out on mediums. Is this track going to be wet enough? As Dr. Lemons throws the dice as well. Now, this is all going to be it. It could be Jack Blum winning this race on the mediums. It could be him completely out of the order in 1 lap's time. Now, what can these intermediates do as we're going to ride with Jack? Is there enough grip in his Renault to handle the medium tyre? And how wet is Paul Ricard going to get? Now, where are the leaders? We'll come back to Jack shortly, as we can see other drivers as well coming in. There's Clay Mears, he's coming in for mediums. Now, does Dragon on Speed decide to come in, taking it so carefully there? There's no drop that's out there on the track. For me personally, I think it's too dry. He does come in, Dragon on Speed's in. It's going to be for the intermediate, surely. Now, big thing for Colour White, big gamble. Does he decide to come in as well? He does. So he's in as well. It's going to be for mediums. Toon Fan stays out. Now, this will be a movement for the lead. Of course, this is for the lead of the race. Dragon on Speed's going to be in. It's going to have to be for the intermediate tyre. Gavlar in as well. Now, the big mover and shaker is going to be Toon Fan. Can he make the advantage work? It's going to be intermediates for Dragon on Speed and for Gavlar as well. Colorway and again all for mediums. Now, Toon Fan watching the lead here. Can he extend his lead as it's so wet out there? Was it a lap early or a lap too late for Toon Fan? It's going to see him right at the front. It's no grip out there at all. Now, it's a big gamble there for Toon, and unfortunately I don't think it's going to work out for him. His 11-second gap is not going to be enough. Dragon might get him by the end of the lap. And Tristan decided to come back in there for Inters, so all the cars look like in for Inters. That's going to be the choice. And how wet did the circuit get in the last couple of laps there? Of course, the drivers that have opted for the longer setups, as we can see, Toon's going to have to make a pit stop. His gap's down to 7.5 seconds, so the track now has decayed too much. It is far too wet out there to be handling the medium stripe tyre. It's going to be intermediate till the end of the race. Now, what do the drivers have in the bag for wet running? Callum White currently third. He will go back up to P2. We're riding with the current race leader, Toon Fan. This is not the track, this is not the corner to be taking medium tyres on a wet track. Toon Fan rolled the dice there, and unfortunately it hasn't worked out for him. It's going to see him right fall down to the bottom of the pack. He could go down to at least 6th position by the looks of things. If Toon Fan is going to get him by the end of the lap by the looks of it, like I did reminisce. I think the pits is going to catch him out there. A shame there for Toon Fan. He rolled the dice. It didn't work out. Toon Fan retains the lead of the French Grand Prix from Colour White and Gavlar. Tristan next up. Now, what do these guys have in the wet? We all know Gavlar's pretty good in the wet as well. Does he have what it takes? Or does Colour White have a different mode? We haven't seen this driver in the wet. What does he have in the bag today to take it? Can he catch? He's got 7.8 seconds and 7 laps to catch Dragon on Speed. Can he do it? And can he win the French Grand Prix? Toon Fan comes out behind his teammates, and surprisingly there, big shame there for Toon Fan. He rolled the dice. Now, Toon Fan, I do know, does have some pace when it comes to wet weather. We'll ride with the McLarens. This is the battle for 4th place. It is absolutely chucking it down there at Paul Ricard. It was a lap and a half to make the circuit completely wet, and wet enough for intermediate tyres. Puppy, the last guy to come in. As now, of course, DRS will be disabled. The gap for the lead, and maybe some team orders coming in there at McLaren. You can hardly even see the braking points. You can hardly even see the curbs as we race around the back section here at Paul Ricard. This is the closest gap on the field. We'll have a quick look at Devil's Nightmare to see as the gap is coming down to Duran. It's currently 7/10 of a second. They'll be the P9. You can even hear the rain droplets in the background. Racing around. We'll follow this just for the seconds. Of course, ERS completely out of the window in the wet weather. We'll rejoin the leader, Dragon on Speed, leading this race by 8.8 seconds. It's interchangeable weather. I didn't see that on the forecast. Didn't have the premise to actually see it on my screen. As we can see, Toon does now get ahead of his teammate. Dr. Lemmings gets himself another penalty. Now, do McLaren play the team game and hold position for crucial points for the team? Christian's not going to be happy in the Drivers' Championship. He's got Gavlar, another car ahead of him, who seems to be pretty happy there in P3. A shame there for Toon Fan, who rolled the dice, who's now off the podium in P4, coming in for those intermediate tyres a lap later. May have cost him the podium. It certainly seemed super steamy up the order. back up to 8th position. He was finding himself outside the points. So the winners and losers in that, unfortunately the first loser is going to have to be, in my eyes, Toon Fan, for that move, staying out one more lap in his McLaren, opting for the medium tyres. It's seen him will put back up into P1 for one lap and unfortunately lose it the lap afterwards. Dragon Speed nearly caught him actually on the track and it lost 12 seconds in that lap combined. Big shame for him. The big winner really of that safety car has to be Super Steve. Pitted right at the best time when the circuit was absolutely drenched, just about got in, has got himself way up into the field, up to P8 now, hitting the 100 metre board, which I don't think the French authorities will be very happy with. Pretty much nearly out of ERS battery range. We can see Durant in the sister Red Bull with yellow flags on the track, and unfortunately that is Dr. Lemons that seems to have spun it. It's Ghost in the car. The front wing looks to be intact and all four wheels on the Haas. So unfortunately the wet weather seems to have caught out Dr. Lemons. He's fallen down the order. Definitely no damage to his Haas. He's decided to stay out. He stays in 10th position. Puppy is 40 seconds behind him, and Clay the new boy in 12th, a further 8 seconds down the road. So really the big point on today is going to be as the gap between Dragon and Speed and Colour White is now extended to 11 seconds on track. Well, I'm actually quite happy to say I'm in the comms box tonight and not out on the track. If you combine the French weather with the French track, that's really not the best idea in my head. Very happy that the WNR race was involved. It did stray dry. Otherwise, you might have seen a few more swear words come out than normal from my voice, but let's not get into that one. Now, can Gavlar do anything about Colour White? In his first FNR race, doing fantastically well in P2. You can see the Ferrari ahead as we drive with Gavlar, edging ever closer. So we are on lap 24 of this French race. The gap 10.8 seconds. Gavlar we ride with is 1.4 behind Colour White. He's going to be getting the aero disadvantage off the Ferrari right behind him. Toon Fan seems to have moved ahead, or it's moved away from his teammates. Tristan for the battle for P4, the battle with the McLarens. Jack is currently 6th. Good race for him, bit of a quiet race for Jack. We'll have a quick look down and follow Jack quickly, I should say. Stable race for him in P6. And be good points for Renault. It's a bit too much on the curves again for Jack. You've got to be really, really careful through there. You can't be riding those curves. Durant, a driver we haven't really spoken about much today. He is looking over P7. Of course, unfortunately, contact on the first lap seems to have cost his race. His teammate in P3. This is the battle for P7 between him and Super Steve. The gap 6/10 of a second. Oh, and he's fighting it as you can see him coming down the backstretch, trying to keep his Red Bull in a straight line. The wet weather has definitely spiced up this French Grand Prix as you can see him running out of ERS. He'll be battery saving now, sure, maybe thinking about having a go at Super Steve there on the next track. As you can just see, the visibility of these cars is absolutely awful in these conditions. As we can look down, and Devil's Nightmare is 4 tenths behind him. So, oh, there's a big slide there from Durant as he goes through what is the flat-out right-hander of turn 11 in the dry. In wet weather, it's really not. Super Steve is holding it on the island at the moment. Crucial points for Alfa Romeo. More driver penalties there for Dr. Lemons, which has written these down. I have a tally by now of exactly where they are. The order state remains the same as Dragon Speed running away with this race. As you can see, Durant getting ever closer to Super Speed. And behind Tim Niven, this is the battle for 7th place. Durant's not going to be close enough in the first corner to make a move. Now, the last couple of laps in this race is going to be absolutely crucial. Maybe not for the first part of this race, but for the first half of this grid. It's going to be for 8th, 9th and 10th place as we're watching over Super Steve Duran and Devil's Nightmare. We're watching the car in the middle of this pack, this sandwich between Super Steve Duran and Devil's Nightmare for 7th place. And of course then you've got Jack another couple of seconds up the road, discounting penalties. This is where Duran had a look at Super Steve last lap. He's a lot closer this lap. Does he have a look? Super Steve already defending. They come up to the 150 metre board. They're being very, very well behaved, the drivers. And reminiscing really of Daniel Ricciardo making his move in the Renault a couple of years ago in the real F1. As now we can see we're about to start the white flag lap, the lap 27 at the front of the order. More a penalty there for Super Steve. That won't help his factor. It is going to be so close. And the drive out of there, really not good for him. As Dragon on speed there, he is coming up to, he's halfway round his last lap, but one. We're going to go white flag racing for him as he does hit his white flag lap. Durant getting ever closer there. Super Steve making an issue there out of the last corner at Paul Ricard. And he's looking to make a move. He's even closer than was the last lap. He thinks about it not. Into turn 1. Devil's Nightmare, the best seat in the house. In P9, looking over these two and hoping that these two do make a mistake as we look at the aerial view. And Duran getting himself a penalty. You can just see exactly what he did. Just a bit of frustration looming there for Duran. Maybe got the faster car. Let's have a quick look at the ERS between these three. They are all roughly on the same ERS. Devil's getting himself another big penalty. This is the battle for 7th, 8th and 9th place. The two McLarens seems to have sorted out their differences and have stayed in 4th and 5th. Gavlar ahead of those, looking at a podium, another podium, a crucial one, as you can see Durant here going for it. He knows he has to make his advantage count. Super Steve defending, he's going to have the inside line. He moves over, contact between the two of them. It was wheel to wheel, that was all racing. And does Durant move himself another position? He doesn't. Now white flag is out for Dragon on speed. We will stay with him until the end of this lap. As you can see now, Duran in that battle for 7th, 8th and 9th. It's still Super Steve, Duran and Devils. The gap, so Devils is getting ever closer to Duran. We will stay with Devils until the end of this race. We will then flip through the order to see exactly where the finishing position is. Now, driver of the day, you probably already know if you've been listening to this whole stream of who I'm going to pick. It's a red Ferrari, becomes performance. The new boy, he's driven his heart out today. He's going to be driver of the day in my hearts. Dragon on speed, had it in qualifying. He's had it in changeable conditions in the race. He started on the softs. It was looking like a two-stop strategy in the dry. It came in the wets. He made the right decision to come in when he did. Changeable conditions. There has been absolutely no one, as you can see, lap cars. They won't get into effect on his white flag lap, the last lap, into the last sector now, into the last couple of corners, as Dragon on speed comes out of the last corner at France and wins the French Grand Prix for an FNR Bronze. Celebrating as it goes across the line. Driver of the day colour white will finish second. Fantastic performance in the Ferrari for the new boy. Driver of the day finishes second. Gavlar will still remain championship leader in P3. Great drive from him today. Toon Fan looks like he'll win the battles off the McLaren in 4th. Tristan will follow his McLaren sister in 5th. And as he crosses the line, Jack Blum will then finish 6th. Crucial points for Renault as we'll go back as promised this battle for 7th, 8th and 9th on the last lap. Super Steve and then Devil's Nightmare seems to have got him. It looks like there. as Jack does come across the line. There's yellow flags in sector 3, and Super Steve does finish in P7. Fantastic. Devils 8th and Durant 9th. Wow. And Dr. Lemons is coming home slowly but surely for a final point in P10. Now, on the count back, is there any change? It doesn't look like there is. So it looks like across the line, it is Dragon on Speed, the winner. Colour White 2nd, Gavlar 3rd, Toonfan 4th, Tristan 5th, and Jack Blum 6th. Super Steve finishes 7th, Devil's Nightmare 8th, Durant 9th, and Dr. Lemons 10th. Unfortunately, Puppy and Clamix, the new boy in his sister Ferrari, will finish 11th and 12th, and no points unfortunately for him. The only non-classified finish we can see Claymore's going across the line will be Mono. Unfortunately, the accident much earlier in the race cost him. Wow, now that was exciting. Now Super Steve voted driver of the day. Very, very good for him. For me in my heart, as I literally just said earlier, you know that is, as we'll join the podium celebrations. A fantastic performance from Haas. And really, he had it all in the bag from qualifying. Fantastic qualifying lap. Fantastic performance from the new boy finishing in P2 today. As we can see the final classification for the FNR French Grand Prix. Dragon on Speed does win. Colour White with no penalties. Colour White finishes 2nd, 14.4 seconds on the road with penalties. Driver of the day in the Ferrari. Gavlar 3rd, 3 seconds of penalties. Toonfan 4th. He's going to be upset about that. Maybe if he had pitted a little bit earlier, a lap earlier, that might have seen him on the podium today. His teammate Tristan finishes down in 5th, Jack Blum 6th, Super Steve, Codemasters driver of the day, finishes 7th. He wins that battle for 7th place from 9th. Devil's Nightmare 8th, Durat 9th, and Dr. Lemons fitting the last point in 10th place. Now, I'm out of breath. I'm extremely tired after that. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. So it's a scrappy do, and from everyone at RRC Racing for FNR, good night, and we hope to see you next week.